Hey everybody, welcome to DadsDen of Pop Culture and Justice League Monday, and today we're going to be reviewing Justice League America number 32, Justice League Europe number 8, both from November of 1989. Parts 3 and 4 of the Teasdale Imperative. We started this last week as the League went into Eastern Europe, maybe sort of Central Europe, and had to deal with what appeared to be vampires. Oh, now I'm doing the wah-ha-has. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's start with Justice League America here. Story by Giffen and DeMatteis. Art by Hughes and Nichols. Adam Hughes started doing the art last issue. And so we begin with Teasdale up on the roof with that canister of the disease that he has engineered. And twang, he catapults it off. At this point, the League is getting ready for battle. We see Elongated Man. They're coming. So Captain Atom, Power Girl get up in the air. John Jones is going to take care of things on the ground. And as they get up there, there goes the canister. And it lands, and the stuff comes out. It's sort of like a cloud. And of course, the heroes got their containment suits on, but the soldiers there did not. They're going to be turned now into vampires. So everybody scrambles. We get a little moment here between Guy Gardner and Ice Maiden. Remember, they're aiming towards maybe some kind of relationship there. Don't worry, sweet cakes. Your lover boy Guy Gardner will protect you. First of all, don't call me sweet cakes. Second of all, you are not, nor will you ever be, my lover boy. When are you going to stop fighting destiny, babe? You and me, we're simpatico. Admit it, I'd drive you crazy. I can accept that. Okay, so, always nice. You got your action, you got your fight scenes. Get a little bit of personality in there. That kind of thing. Okay. So their Metamorpho and Power Girl are destroying a lot of the heavy artillery there, just in case it might be used against them. Here we have Teasdale standing amid all the insanity of his sort of vampires. He's got a plan. He's leading them somewhere. And of course, the Gray Man is who's really behind this. A war is not over until all the enemy lie dead, Doctor. Until all the dead have given up their soul stuff to me. Now see to your business while I see to mine. Fine, but you don't have to be so nasty about it. Go! I'm going. Always working in a little bit of comedy. And they're good at it in these books. You know, it generally speaking does not become distracting. Okay, so our heroes kind of get out into the wilderness. They're trying to rally. Batman, though, kind of knows what's going on. Clearly, the gas confirms my theory of this disease being man-made. The question remains, who made it and why? You know what really spooks me is that they're all just regular people. I mean, they didn't ask for this. One minute they're as normal as you or me, and the next, and Booster, I was with you until that normal as you and me bit. So, you know, they're trying to make sure you understand that these people are not responsible for what's happening to them. And the League has as much of a duty to protect them as to protect others from them. By the way, Dungeon from TSR. Awesome little board game. Love that one. I got one in the closet, and I'll probably do a video on it at some point. Okay, so we get a little bit between Power Girl and Mr. Miracle. She's like, you're a high-tech guy. Can't you do something about all this, You're from Apocalypse. He's like, I was born on New Genesis. I was raised, if you can call it that, on Apocalypse. My home is in New Hampshire, which is where I dearly like to be right now. Hey, I didn't mean anything by it. A chopper. I better relax. It's not an attack. I doubt if any of those pathetic creatures could pilot an aircraft. Then who? Stag Industries. Ooh, the plot thickens a little bit. Yes, Stag is here, along with Java. Well, it turns out that they seem to be headed towards one of his chemical plants in the area. And this disease was engineered by somebody who works for him. Of course, Stagg knew nothing about this. Oh, he's totally innocent. Totally innocent. But, well, of course, Metamorpho knows. Yeah. Right. And we do get a little bit of background on Teasdale. Basically, what he did is he took the disease that has been thought to maybe be the origin of vampirism, the legends of vampirism. And he's made it far more virulent and powerful. He can control people with it. So he is sent off with this guy in a chopper to test it on a village. They do test it. And then the guy in the chopper, the pilot, pulls a gun on Teasdale. Yeah, we don't need you anymore. So you got to go. Well, Teasdale attacks the guy out of desperation. And the helicopter crashes, and somehow he survives. He probably shouldn't have. It's like a miracle. Well, it is sort of a miracle, but not from a guardian angel, but from the gray man. This plays into the gray man's hands. And so they make it to the factory. We could see the smokestacks there. And he sends his hordes forward to attack. Nya-ha-ha! Oh, God, I'm doing the laugh again. They do that a lot with these villains, getting into comic book villain mode. Well, we rejoin Spectre and Dr. Fate speaking to the Lords of Order, who are essentially pretty non-cooperative, They're going to just sit on the sidelines. Order has withdrawn from this age. We will sit quietly observing until it is past, until the age of order returns, and we once more have control of this universe. Spectre and Dr. Fate, not real impressed with this. And they say, hey, man, this has to be neutralized. And they say to Dr. Fate says, I'm going to do something about this. And you, Spirit, I stand with Dr. Fate. The gray man must be neutralized, with or without your help. Good art in here, of course, from Adam Hughes, as you would expect it. Well, the good guys have gotten themselves to the factory to sort of set up defenses and figure out what to do. Funny little bit here with Blue Beetle snoring on Booster's shoulder, and it's really annoying him and Green Flame, and if I didn't know better, I'd say he was really awake and just doing this to annoy us. I am not awake, Beetle. Okay, you typical Blue Beetle. Hijinks to try to keep everything a little bit light. Okay, so they're going to try to set up a perimeter to hold all these things off. And here we see Stagg and Java. They came? Of course they came, Java. When Simon Stagg pulls strings, all the little puppets dance. Are we all secure here? Yeah, everything's great. It's still our little secret. And it had better remain our little secret. The League believes that this is a personal vendetta on the part of our dear Dr. Teasdale, that he's coming here simply to destroy me. But we know what he really wants, don't we? The stuff? The stuff. Yeah, but I bet you he'd be real happy to stomp you into mashed potatoes after he gets it. Why, Java, what lovely imagery. Have you ever considered a career in writing? So, they're looking at these vats while they say this. Gee, I wonder what could be in those vats. And obviously, Stagg wants to preserve this stuff because he probably has his own plans for world domination. Okay, they have now gathered around the factory. There is the enemy. Attack. Attack. How is the League going to stand up to that? We have him up there laughing maniacally. Nice work here for the poor villagers. In this case, the angry mob are actually the monsters. All right, this is continued, of course, in Justice League Europe, number 8. Uh-oh, what's the... Oh, that looks vaguely like a shadow of a person. But a person couldn't be that big? Why, it must be a mistake. All right. We join Dr. Fate, having been shot out of that other dimension by the Lords of Order, and Fate is not real happy about this, does not like the Lords of Order in the least, but guesses that the job has now fallen to her. I think I'm going to be sick. Like I said, there's an element of deconstruction in these things to sort of humanize these characters. It's more comedic than it is trying to like invert everything, but it's still a certain amount of deconstruction of the superhero, making them real people who are in these bizarre situations. So this one is called Showdown, Keith Giffen, plot and breakdowns, James DeMatteis script, and Hasty Departure? What's this? Bart Sears pencils, Bob Smith inks, Bob Lappin letters, Gene D'Angelo colors, Kevin Dooley shreds all the evidence, Andy Helfer takes the fall. Okay, we see Mr. Miracle and we see Rocket Red. Above the place, you can see all these vampires gathered around the fence. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Simon Stagg is, of course, being a jerk. Dimitri lets him know two men are approaching, and those two men walk right through this electrified fence. Did you just see that? They just walked through it, an electrified fence. And they walked through it. Batman, I can take them down and no. One of them is a gray man. What? We faced one before. Fire. Whatever you do, don't let him touch you. Now just stand back and let them be. And so they walk right into the factory. Oh God, I was right. It is Teasdale, and he's after the vats of serum. Vats? There's more of it in there, and you didn't tell us? I slipped my mind. Stagg is lucky Batman didn't just break his jaw right there. So they walk in. Here are the vats. He says, send in these beings, but he's kind of like, wait. You want to use this on everyone in the world? But it's fatal. I mean, it's going to kill everybody. Like, Teasdale thinks he's going to rule the world. So he's realizing that this is not going to his plan, but he reminds him, you don't want to keep Stagg waiting. Stagg. So he decides he's going to call forth all of these creatures to attack, and Dr. Fate appears to stop him, but only momentarily. And so he gives the order, and all these vampire people, remember, these are real people that were infected with this man-made disease. They start just basically going to the fences and being electrocuted. The screams so horrible, and the smell of burning flesh. Okay, yeah, see, Justice League can get very serious when it needs to. So, but what's the point? He's destroying his entire army. Well, the Gray Man is not just collecting dream essence from these people. He's collecting their souls. And you can see he's starting to grow. And he's going to rule the cosmos. Is that what this is all about? Another yo-yo who wants to rule the cosmos? I mean, what's so great about that job anyway? And Stagg is realizing they probably need to get the heck out of there. And here we get him bursting through the roof. Very nice. I've done it. Guy Gardner's like, all right, well, this is where the big giant guy wants to stomp on us. That means it's time for us to do a little stomping. I think Booster says, yeah, well, I'm glad somebody's happy about this. So we basically are going to get a nice fight scene here, and a big fight scene. They're going to have a lot of trouble with this one. As you can see right off the bat, Power Girl gets smacked hard. And Rocket Red wants to go after her, but Captain Atom is like, no, she'll be all right. We got to stick with this. So they continue the attack on the Gray Man. And, Ralph gets kind of injured here. It's not going exactly where they want it to go. So the Gray Man grabs Dr. Fate, and she says, gotta remember what Nabu taught me about channeling the prana, and all that Eric showed me about getting in touch with my intuitive centers. The energy I need, the knowledge I need are there inside me if I can just reach down. And we get a flash. They like the flash sound effect in Justice League. Boom. He kind of knocks him off his feet. You devil. You hurt me. You. Terrific. He's falling and I can't get out of his. Okay. So he hits the ground. Boom. We see people running out of the way. And we get a moment with Teasdale, finally confronting Stagg. I wanted to give you a raise for a job well done, Stagg, my old. Stag, my old friend, at least I can salvage this much. At least I can have the pleasure of seeing you die. Yeah. And then the gray man steps on Teasdale. You deserved that, you little maggot. You failed me, and the penalty for failure is death. And if there was a wall, he probably would have scraped him off like gum. But, because there's a little comedy. Well, no, not really any comedy there. Well, this is the point where Stag and Java are like, we got to get out of here. And here's where the tables turn. The Spectre. My arguments were falling on deaf ears. The Lords of Order were more than willing to let you continue your little rampage. But then you went too far, consumed too much power, threatened chaos and order both. You see the result. Lords of Order, Lords of Chaos, together? Impossible. The greatest enemies may be drawn together by a common threat. And there's kind of a moment here where Spectre actually starts maybe showing a little mercy, maybe showing, I guess a little mercy for the gray man. I mean, this is something that would drive anyone insane, Lords of Order and Chaos, I ask you to take this into account before you... Request denied. He has sinned, he must pay. And that which is rightfully ours must be ours again. No, please don't, please. And so they basically start sucking all of that energy, all of that soul power out of him. And he is left basically kind of with like a lobotomy, mindless, He'll continue to do his job like a good little soldier, and he'll never be a threat to order or anyone again. Well, will he? I guess we'll find out. The last one wasn't supposed to be a threat either. We end here with a somber note because missing from most of the fight is Power Girl. When she got whacked away, she didn't come back. And he sent Rocket Red out to find her. But it's been a while. And so, he's a military guy, and they don't like to lose people, especially when they feel responsible for it. And that's what this scene is about. He feels responsible. Catherine is like, hey, she knew what she was getting into. You had to make a decision. You did the best you can. She says, there is much I like about you, Captain, much I deeply admire, but this self-pity. Self-pity. Now, wait a minute. I'm not... Maybe you're right. Power Girl's the one who's been hurt. I've got to take the focus off myself and put it on her. Good, Captain. Very good. I know how to choose my men. I'm going over to the hospital to see her. Someone is sitting with her right now. It'd be better if you do that tonight. Now, if you'll excuse me, my darling Captain, I have work to do. Sure, Kath. And thanks. You're really... Wait. My men? My darling Captain? It's a little bit slow on the uptake. I'll tell you what, think he could do any better. Now, who is sitting with Power Girl? Well, it's Wally West, the Flash, who's always hitting on her. But, he's maybe not such a bad guy after all. I mean, hell, he was mentored by Barry Allen, for crying out loud. And he says here, and I'll tell you what, you come out of this in one piece, and I'll stop all the crude come-ons. Well, most of them anyway. Just don't die on us, okay? Just don't die. Okay, this is going to be a big part of Justice Europe for the next few issues. What happened to Power Girl and how she pulls through all this stuff. Going to get a good cameo or guest appearance here in a few books. So there we have the end of the Teasdale Imperative. The Gray Man is ultimately destroyed by the Lords of Order and the Lords of Chaos at the behest of the Spectre. Good stuff. Good crossover, 4 issues. They're going to do more of these in the future. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you enjoy these flip-through reviews of Justice League America and Europe, maybe give it a like, maybe subscribe, maybe share with a friend. That would be really cool. But until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. Read some Justice League. And hopefully I will see you again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.